So yesterday we talked about the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Today we're going to use what we know about parallel and perpendicular lines to write the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So you are, on your note sheet, you don't actually have step 4. We're not going to do step 4, but I wanted to point out step 4 because on Monday I asked you about the 3 types of equations of lines. So the first day we talked about point slope. So can somebody tell me what the point slope is? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Very good. Okay. And then we also talked about slope-intercept. Okay. Which is y equals mx plus b. If you didn't know those, they're right here in 2 and 3. So we talked about this one, point slope. We talked about slope-intercept, this one, and the third type of equation of a line is standard form. And we're not actually going to use that today, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that since we talked about it on our bell ringer. Okay, so if I want my lines to be parallel, what should the slopes be? The same, okay? So in number 1, they want us to find a line parallel to y equals negative 3x plus 5. So if it's parallel, then my slope I want to be the same, so it would be negative 3. And they want that line to pass through negative 3, 4. So what should I do to both of these points? Before I plug them in, I need to do what to them? Label them, because we don't know what they are. So if this is my first set of points that I'm given, I'm going to label this x1, y1. Okay? Now, if I have a point and a slope, which one of these formulas am I going to plug into? Point slope formula. Okay? So we're going to do y minus, what is my y1? 4 equals m, which is my slope, negative 3, parentheses, x minus a negative 3, which y'all said is a plus 3. Okay? So from here, we want to distribute our negative 3 out. So I'm going to go ahead and write y minus 4, distribute negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then I'm doing negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9. Okay? Now, how would I get y by itself? Add 4 to both sides. And so my equation would be y equals negative 3x minus 5. Okay, so that is basically what we've been doing the past couple of days. We're just incorporating parallel and perpendicular. So let's look at another one. Okay, so in number 2, they want us to find a line parallel to y equals 4x plus 7 that passes through the point 7, negative 2. Okay? So what would the slope be for a line if it's parallel? It would be the same. It would be 4. Okay? Then we're passing through 7, negative 2, so I'm going to go ahead and label x1 and y1 so that I can plug in. So what would my equation look like when I plug in? Y plus 2. 4 parentheses x minus 7. Perfect. Okay, from there, what would we do? We distribute our 4, so I'm going to bring down y plus 2 equals, I'm going to do 4 times x, which is 4x, minus, and then I'm doing 4 times 7 is 28. Now, how do I get y by itself? Subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, and so my final answer would be y equals 4x minus 30. Okay, so let's try a perpendicular this time. So number 3, it asked me for a line perpendicular to y equals 2/3 x plus 9 and passes through 8, 6. So what would the slope look like if it was perpendicular? Hunter? Very good. -3/2. So it's the opposite sign and the reciprocal. So when I plug in, what would my equation look like? Hold on. I forgot to label. Okay. It would be what? Y minus 6 equals -3/2. Very good. X minus 8. Okay, from there, what would we need to do to solve? Distribute the -3/2. So I'm going to bring down y minus 6 equals -3/2 times x is -3/2x. And then we're doing -3/2 times a -8. So remember, I like to go ahead and make this a fraction too, and then multiply, because then I can just multiply straight across. So I'm going to do -8 times -3. What would that give me? Positive 24. And then I do 1 times 2, which is, okay, and 24 divided by 2 gives me what? 12. Okay? So from there, I just need to get y by itself. So how would I get y by itself? Add 6 to both sides. So my final answer would be y equals -3/2x plus 18. Very good. Okay, let's look at one more perpendicular. Okay, so in number 4, it asks us for a line that is perpendicular to y equals -5/2x minus 3. That passes through the point 15, -3. What would the slope look like for something that is perpendicular to this? 2/5. Good. All right. Now I'm going to label my points x1, y1. I'm going to plug that in. So Serena, when I plug that in, what would it look like? Y plus 3 equals 2/5. Very good. Times x minus 15. Okay, from here, what will we do next? Very good. We distribute our 2/5. So I'm going to rewrite y plus 3 equals 2/5 x. Then I'm going to multiply. I'm going to make this 15/1 times 2/5. I know 15 times 2, or -15 times 2 is -30. And then 1 times 5 gives me 5. So that would give me a -6. Okay, and then how do we get y by itself? Subtract 3 from both sides. So my final answer would be y equals 2/5 x minus 9.